Hey guys, so I wanted to do a get ready with me today because there's like a lot of stuff going on that I haven't really been talking about and I kind of feel like should be spoken about, even though you've probably seen videos and Instagram posts and Twitter posts and blog posts and all of that good stuff talking about these subjects. I just kind of feel like I would like to chime in also. So the first thing that I've been like watching like a hawk is the entire Jussie Smollett situation. For those of you who don't know, Jussie Smollett is an actor on the show Empire. I only ever watched like 1 or 2 episodes. I couldn't really get into it. It has a good cast. I mean, Taraji P. Henson's in it and Terrence Howard is in it. And I guess they're like the forces which draw in all of the, like the majority of the audience. But Jussie Smollett he's an actor on that show, and he decided to one day file a police report saying that he was beaten up, attacked at 2 in the morning in Chicago when he went to go and get some Subway. Now a lot of people were immediately like, huh? And there was a lot of people who were immediately like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry that this happened to you. Oh, I'm using my Douce palette. But yeah, there was a lot of people who were like, we're sorry that this happened to you, and they believed him straight away. And there was a lot of people who were really, really skeptical, simply because it was like dead of winter, and being outside at 2 AM is kind of like a no-go. And he said that the people who had attacked him, they had MAGA hats on, but he didn't say that they were white. But saying that they had MAGA hats on, it automatically leads people to believe that they were white. And apparently they had said a lot of racial slurs and homophobic slurs because he is a gay man. And they even commented on the fact that he was that guy from Empire. But at 2 AM, wouldn't you be bundled up, like big coat, scarf, hat? You would be, especially dead of winter, you're gonna have a lot of stuff on, you're gonna be bundled up. So, and it's dead of night. So how are people going to recognize that it's you? It's kind of sketchy. And he was saying that they threw bleach on him and that they tied a rope around his neck. And that led people to believe like, or that led people to question, why would these people just randomly have bleach and randomly have rope? Like, they must have intended on going out and doing this to people. And there are some people who are like that, don't get me wrong, there are. But it turns out that the police now believe that he had orchestrated the entire thing to boost his profile so that he can potentially get paid more on Empire. And on top of that, doing this would bring more eyes on Empire because it has apparently kind of like died down. Like as the seasons have continued and progressed, they've kind of like lost viewers and whatnot. So I'm not saying that the people who produce Empire are also a part of it, but what I'm saying is it would also boost the ratings of Empire also, and that would be because of his situation. But what I feel is that considering the climate, like today's climate, where everybody's just kind of like on their toes and walking on eggshells in regards to race and stuff, like everything is perceived as racist, everything is perceived as homophobic, you know, everybody has an opinion. Like you can't say anything without being called out for being a racist or a bigot or something. And there's a lot of times where, you know, it's the truth and people are being racist, and then there's a lot of times where people are just kind of like reaching. This is just my opinion, of course. But considering that we're living in that kind of climate right now, I kind of feel like he just pushed us back by filing this false report, because the next person who says that they were racially attacked, you know, homophobic slurs were said to them and stuff like that, the chances of them being believed now or right this moment is going to be kind of like really slim. Because like, oh, but look at what this guy did, because he filed a false report. Allegedly, he had recruited a couple of extras from the show Empire. He had recruited them to stage this attack. He wouldn't give over his phone to the police. He wouldn't, like, he just kind of wouldn't cooperate, basically, and gave them redacted information from his phone. And it's like, if you have nothing to hide, then why are you not handing over your phone? Why are you giving redacted information? Like, I know that if something could happen to me, I'm just gonna be like, here's my phone. When am I getting it back? An hour, 2, 4? Like, when am I getting my phone back? Yeah, I would want my phone back, but it's like, I would want you to catch the perpetrators or whatever. So I'm gonna help as much as I can, but that's because I wouldn't have anything to hide, you know? So I just kind of feel like he's so silly because now he's been arrested. He turned himself in. He's been arrested, and according to some sources, he may be facing like, he could be facing like 30 years in jail. And it's like, for what? Because you wanted more pay? Because you wanted more fame? You wanted to be the poster child of what? I don't know. I just kind of feel like, ooh. Okay, this that I'm putting on my eyelid is something that Peach Co Beauty is working on. And then we have the ridiculousness of this Shamima Begum chick. For those who don't know, she was a teen from the UK who decided it would be a great idea to go over to Syria and buck up with ISIS. Like, that was an amazing idea. And now that she's 19, she wants to come back to the UK, and they have taken away her British citizenship. And I'm not being funny, but I feel like, yes, take it away. The only thing that I feel bad about is the fact that she does have a newborn baby, and kids don't have a choice in the situation that they're born into. She had 2 other children who sadly died while she was out there in Syria. They died, and I feel terrible for that happening. But again, these are the situations that she had put her children in. They were born there. They were, I believe they were conceived and born in Syria. But the fact of the matter is, she put her children in that predicament. But it's just sad that her children did die. So now she's got this one here. I feel like they should give the child to her family, because her family seem to be the only ones with any common sense. Anytime this girl has an interview, the look on her face is as if she doesn't care about the fact that she ran away to Syria. She doesn't feel any remorse. I remember the first interview that she did, the guy asked her, like, do you have anything to say to your family? Because apparently her family were, like, once they found out that she had run away to Syria and joined ISIS, they were trying to get her to come home, and she wouldn't listen. She decided that she wanted to stay, she wanted to do her own thing. So when the guy said, like, do you have anything to say to your family? Because they're fighting for her to come back, as they would, because that's her family, you know, that's her family. They're going to want her to come back. They're going to want her to come home. They haven't seen her in 4 entire years. The 2 babies that she had, they never got to meet them, and they're no longer with us. Like, that's sad. Imagine if you had a grandchild or whatever, or a niece or a nephew that you never got to meet, and they're gone before you even had the opportunity to meet them. Like, that's a sad situation in itself. But that they're fighting to get her back, and the guy said, do you have anything to say to your family? And she was like, no, just keep fighting for me. And I'm just kind of like, hold on, so you're not gonna say, I'm sorry for not listening, I'm sorry, like, I miss you, I love you, I hope that we can be reunited one day, or, you know, those are the kind of things that you would expect for somebody who hasn't seen their family in an entire 4 years. That's what you would expect them to kind of say. And she literally just has this blank look on her face, and she's just like, nah, son, I ain't got nothing to say to them aside from basically get me home. Like, wow. Then she went on to say that the Manchester bombing, the one that Ariana Grande was at, because she was performing, and then there was a bombing at that performance, apparently she felt like it was justified, and her family are saying, nah, we don't stand by those statements there. Clearly she's still got this whole thought pattern, she's still got that whole radicalized thought process going on in her mind, clearly, because she doesn't seem to understand or gather that saying these things is not going to help her situation. It's not gonna make people want her to come back, because you've got to kind of make people feel like you've changed. You've got to make people feel like, you know, she made a mistake and now she wants to come home, she wants to start afresh. She's no threat to us. She feels bad for the people who were attacked by the group that she was a part of. It may not have necessarily been her who was there doing these things, but she was in support of it. So she doesn't seem to get it. She's not getting it. And they have revoked her British citizenship, but in the process of that, they've left her stateless. Like, you can't leave a person without a country to belong to. And the UK government are saying, well, she can go to Bangladesh, because according to Bangladeshi laws, she should be able to get citizenship there because she has Bangladeshi lineage and stuff. So Bangladesh are like, no son, she ain't coming here. So in a sense, the UK have left her stateless, so she'll probably end up getting her citizenship back, sadly. But the thing is, it will take her a long time to get it. They're not just going to say, oh, okay, well, Bangladesh aren't going to claim you, so here's your citizenship back. They're going to, it's going to take apparently at least a couple of years. And that's if she even has the opportunity to win. But I think that she will, because she has been left without a country to belong to. I think the UK just did this real quick so that she didn't come back. Because think about it, even though she said, yeah, I want to come back, at that point she had every opportunity to come back. If she had just jumped on a flight with her kid, well, she'd have to get something for her child to travel. But anyway, if she had managed to get on a flight with her UK passport, she would have been able to come into the country. She may have been detained, but she would have been able to come into the country. There wouldn't have been anything really stopping her in that sense. But I think that they just kind of cut her off so that even if she does come over, or even if she does get to like border control, wherever the hell she is, they'll have to say, nah, sorry, your passport isn't accepted. I don't know what leads people to do things like this. Like, why would you ever want to join people like ISIS? Like, are you crazy? Like, I couldn't. Oh, that's too dangerous for me. Just traveling on public transport, I feel like it's too dangerous. So to go and join ISIS and go be right in the center of all of that stuff, I can't do it. I'm sorry. No love. Now we've got the whole situation with, is it Jordyn Woods and her cheating with Khloe Kardashian's loose baby father, Tristan Thompson. And Jordyn Woods is supposed to be Kylie Jenner's best friend. So how are you going to go with your sister's, with your best friend's sister's man? Like, what's wrong with you? But I feel like there's more to that story. I feel like there's no way that she could have just done that like off her own back, like, because it was what's his name? Something Lee, Jason Lee, that's it, Jason Lee. He's like a celebrity blogger kind of person, and he basically said that how his people were at Tristan Thompson's house or event or whatever it was and saw Jordyn Woods like flirting with Tristan Thompson. It's like, what's wrong with you? Apparently they had taken all of their phones and whatnot, but apparently he knew that the people who were there were bloggers. So I just don't understand some people. But you know what, I feel like there's certain guys out there who just have problems, because at what point do you feel like, no, there has to be a line drawn? And there's just some people who just don't know how to draw the line, or where to draw the line, and when to say, you know what, this is not okay, this is like too far. Because I know a lot of guys cheat, right? But there's just some guys who don't care where they stick it. Like, they just don't care where they stick it. And that's what's scary, because a lot of these guys are so good at acting like they are, like butter wouldn't melt, like they're the best thing since sliced bread. They're good at acting. It makes me feel like a lot of guys just don't care about themselves. And if a guy can't care about himself, how is he supposed to care about you? You know what I'm saying? But they're good at concealing it until the very, very last minute. Because don't forget, you know, like all of that comes with a lot of lies. All of that comes with a lot of stories that they tell you. And then they've got to remember all of these lies and stories that they just told you. But you know, when you're telling the truth, right? You haven't got to remember what you said, because it's just the truth. You don't have to remember what you said. And that's when fractures start to happen, because then they're coming back and they're having to remember the lies that they told you in the first place, and then certain things are just starting not to add up. And this is when the cracks start to show and you start to see exactly who they are. This is why I don't have no one. This is why I just stay on my own. Because when you're on your own, you don't have to worry about people lying to you. You don't have to worry about all of that stuff. And I believe in second chances, don't get me wrong, I really do believe in second chances. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, if you do it to me once, you do it to me again. And even when I give you the second chance, if you're not showing me nothing, you're gonna have to leave. I'll give you an opportunity to really come correct, because there are some people who make mistakes. But once you don't take that chance to just come correct and just be a good person, me and you can't like be together no more. So that's why I've just decided, let me just stay by myself. That way it's no distraction. That way it's no problems, no issues. Because I don't have to worry about what you're doing. You don't have to worry about what I'm doing. Like, we're just, you know, we're just single. For those of you who have partners who don't mess around, whew, you found yourself a good one, and I'm just so happy for you. I'm doing the next best thing, just staying on my own. But yeah, I don't understand how Jordyn Woods could do that to her best friend's sister. Like, where's the loyalty? But it just goes to show, you can't expect loyalty from no one. Because everyone's just out for themselves. They don't care whether or not it's right by you or not. That's why I eradicate them kind of people from my life. So that's why I'm so glad that Kylie Jenner kicked that chick out. Oh, I met Jordyn Woods one time. I was at Beautycon with Peach&Pearl brushes. This was a good few years ago. And she comes up to the table. She's with a couple of people, by the way. She comes up to the table. She doesn't even really acknowledge me and the people that I was with behind the table, even though we said hi to her and whatever. And she's talking to her people who are like, yeah, we really like these brushes and da 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 da. And she's just like looking at them, and she's kind of like this, just looking at them like this. And I'm thinking, okay. And I don't know what her person said to her, because she had kind of started to walk away, and her person turned around and said something, but I couldn't hear. And she looked at them and went, no, and carried on walking. And then one of her other people, some dude, he was just kind of like, just standing there like this. Like, he was kind of big, and he was just standing there like this, like he was part of the mafia or something. And he was just kind of like, so, and he was American, of course, because she's American too. So I'm gonna assume that her people around her are going to predominantly be American. But yeah, he's like, so is there anything that she can have? And I'm just kind of like, what? This chick didn't even really seem like she was interested. And quite frankly, I don't even know who the hell she was. Because this is a good few years ago, mind you. And I feel like she's only really come into the forefront more recently. And I was just kind of like, who is she? Because I didn't know who she was. So I was just kind of like, who is she? And my sister was there, and the guy never said nothing. He didn't really answer the question. But my sister was there, and she was like, oh, that's Kylie Jenner's best friend. So I asked him what her Instagram was, and he's just standing there and he looks annoyed. He looks annoyed, but he's looking really threatening at the same time. He's looking really threatening at the same time. And like, just the way he's just standing there, and the way he's like, his posture, and it's like he wants to beat us up. Like, bro, it's not that big of a deal. It's just makeup brushes. But anyway, so I asked him what the Instagram was, and he was just kind of looking at me. And then my sister told me what her Instagram was, and I went to her Instagram and I saw her pictures and whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And I gave her some brushes as a gift. But she had already walked away, so the only person that I can give it to was him. And then he went over to her and gave it to her, and then she was like, oh, thanks. But she didn't say, oh, thanks. She didn't come back and say, oh, thanks to us. She just said, oh, thanks to him. And it just kind of seems like she has him there to shake down all of the booths to get her free stuff. That's how it seemed, because then he went over and he did it to another booth. And I was just kind of like, wow. So my camera cut off. I think it like only records for a certain amount of time and then automatically cuts off. But yeah, I was just kind of like, wow, like she didn't even want to come over and say, oh, thank you. Like, it just seemed like she just gets this guy to go and shake down other booths and get her free stuff. Because as I said, I saw I basically saw her do the exact same thing to another booth, and I was just like, wow. So I would never do that again. It's like, if you want freebies, we can talk via email, and we can sort out something where if I do send you something for free, you're gonna be advertising it, because nothing came of that after she got the brushes. Nothing came of it, so whatever, I don't care. But yeah, it was just kind of like a rude interaction, and she just gets her people to get her freebies by having some person antagonize these booths because she's Kylie Jenner's bestie. Well, not anymore. Anywho, so yeah, oh my gosh, the whole thing with the Givenchy foundation, like, what is going on? So when I did my when I had done my new releases and sneak peeks video, they had only posted on Trendmood. I couldn't see a post from them on their actual Instagram about these foundations. It was only on Trendmood, and Trendmood had made a notice saying that, oh, this isn't the full range. So I kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt, and then the next day when I saw that the range isn't much better, I was just kind of like, what on earth is going on? Like, seriously. I feel like a lot of these companies are just doing this so that they can get attention, kind of like with the whole was it Gucci doing like the blackface top, and Katy Perry with her blackface shoes, and there was another fashion brand that was doing like a top with a noose, which kind of is reminiscent of lynching and suicides and things like that. It's like, it's all about the shock value, and it just kind of looks like it's just certain groups who it's at the expense of, and I kind of find it disgusting. Like, in this day and age, we're still doing this. We're still doing it. And yeah, I can't buy from companies who do that stuff. I just can't. Like, why would you do this? Like, why do you need to do this? Like, is it that important? But you know what it is as well? It's like a lot of these people, or these brands, sorry, a lot of these brands, the demographics in which they are insulting are not the demographics that normally buy their products. So even though you would have like a lot of rappers and whatever talking about Gucci and this and that and the other, the main people who buy Gucci and all of these designer brands aren't necessarily people of color. You get a lot of people of color who do buy it, but the main people who really bring in the big bucks aren't people of color. So they don't really care to lose that custom, because we're not the people who are keeping your brand afloat in the first place. But they wouldn't go ahead and insult the demographic which are keeping their brand afloat. They wouldn't do that, because then those are going to be like major losses. So I've got to say, I don't really buy big brands anyway. Like, I think I've only ever bought from Gucci one time, and it wasn't even for me, it was for somebody else. And it's like, so it makes it very easy for me to boycott brands like that. But it's just kind of like, that's gross. It's just so gross in this day and age. Okay, so this is the finished look. I really like it. You guys know that I love pink, and I just love pink. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. I'm gonna just stop supporting all of these companies that just do not care about certain groups of people, who are just throwing them under the bus in order for marketing and exposure and shock factor and all of that stuff. Like, I'm just so done with it. Anyway, go on and have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.